You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Good tidings to you and all of your kin. This is the Modern Musicology Podcast. My name is Rob Levy. I am in the captain's chair tonight, and we're going to talk about a lot of cool things, which we'll get to in a moment. But first, I would like to introduce my accomplices in this endeavor. We have, first of all, drummer and singer and bird person, Stephanie Seymour.
Hi, everyone.
You're a bird person.
I'm a bird person. Come on.
And then we have media mogul, author, podcaster, drummer, and all-around swell guy, Alan Seiler. How are you?
Oh, just dandy. How are both of you?
We are
Good.
peachy. So this is it for our year. So I just want to say again, thank you, and Anthony as well. Thank you for doing this for another year. It is one of the most enriching things that I have in my life right now, and I love our visits. So I just wanted to say that.
Oh, we love you too.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
I just wanted to also start off by saying that we give tidings of comfort and joy to all of our listeners who have been supportive and awesome and done really great things. And to that effect, we are going to have some listener feedback from Steph.
Yes, we got some feedback from 2 episodes in a row of ours, starting with the 80s soundtracks episode with John Malachi. My friend Vic Berardi said that Field of Dreams, released in 1989, is one of his all-time favorite movies. So thank you, Vic. And then Pete Johnson says they are fascinating, meaning the movies are fascinating. He said his cousin's husband did very well on one from the 90s. He covered Wild Ones, and it was on the Pretty Woman soundtrack. That's so cool.
That is so cool.
I know. And then we also had our favorite TV theme songs episode and had some nice comments about that. My friend Terry Staunton says, I hope Laverne and Shirley made the cut. I'm sorry, Terry.
I love that song.
I
so
know.
much. And I didn't put it on my list, and I thought about it.
I think we just have to do part 2, for this.
That close.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I almost put that on mine.
I know.
I've actually played that on the radio before.
Oh, cool.
I mean, where else are you going to hear the word schlemazel?
If that's a word. All right. Also, Paul Moschella wrote, that was a fun one. I'm surprised nobody chose Underdog, which is also a good pick.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Check this one out. My friend Shelley Seidman wrote and said, I hope my cousin Sherwood's Gilligan's Island theme made it. That's her cousin by marriage. How cool is that?
That's very
Sherwood.
cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Dave DeSanzo writes, WKRP and Cheers are my 2 faves. Those are great.
Yeah, WKRP is so good.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Do you know someone, Alan, named Vandy Beth Glenn?
Vandy Beth Glenn. Yes, I do.
Okay.
She's a very good friend of mine.
Well, because she wrote one for you and one for Anthony. She wrote, Alan, how can you call yourself a nerd when you've never heard of Garth Marenghi's Dark Place?
Okay. Well, in my defense, I did not say that I had never heard of the show. I have heard of the show. I've just never watched it. And I wasn't familiar with the premise.
Yeah.
And I had never heard the theme before we did our show. But yes, I have heard of that show.
Okay. And then she wrote one to Anthony and she said, how can you call yourself a nerd when you've never heard of Land of the Lost, which was my number one pick?
In his defense, what he calls himself is a rather young, very British nerd who would not have grown up with it.
And also so much younger than we are, right? So
much younger.
So let me just get to 2 more. Eric Sensava, our friend of friends, right, who always comments on our posts, on our episodes, and we're so grateful to you, Eric. He said, oh, nice. This is an unexpected topic from you guys. However, I think it's going to be the episode your fans didn't know we needed. Yay. Right? He said, I smell People's Choice Podcast Award on this one. I love you, Eric. And lastly, we have Michael Phillips, who actually gave like five shows that he thought were wonderful theme songs: The Avengers, The Prisoner, The $6 Million Man, Department S, and Northern Exposure. And he also gave 2 runners-up, which are Sherlock Holmes TV series and Futurama. So thank you, Mike.
Yeah. One of the ones that, Northern Exposure. I don't know that I've ever heard a theme song for that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it is.
I don't either.
Yeah, and the thing that's interesting about Futurama is that's a recording by Pierre Henry from France, and we weren't using songs that were previously recorded,
right?
Which is why it didn't make my list.
Okay,
but it's a great piece of music as well.
Right,
that is a fantastic amount of feedback that we got, though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was 2 episodes that people got really chatty about. I love that, and so that means, you know what that just tells me is. Goodbye, modern musicology. Starting in 2026, we are going to be the TV theme song show. That's it.
And also movies and TV.
Why not?
Why not? We can be modern entertainment.
There you go.
And Alan, if someone would like to leave feedback for us, how might they do that?
They might do that by emailing us at modernmusicology1@gmail.com. Or you can comment anywhere that you see our episode posted on the socials. Or if you listen on a platform like Spotify or Apple Music or one of those kind of places, comment there and we will get it also.
There you go. So please say hi. We'd love to hear more comments.
We do love to hear comments.
We like to hear that. It makes us feel like we're not talking to each other for an hour every week. So the topic for this week, it's the last podcast of the year. So it's our sort of end of the year holiday show. And what that does for us is that gives us a chance to sort of talk about holiday music, holiday records, holiday shopping. Maybe you're doing all your Christmas holiday giving and you have no idea what to give the music person in your life. We're here for that. So it's a lot of things, this show, but it's going to be a whole mess of fun. So we'll jump in with some of our go-to holiday music songs. You know, you go anywhere now and you hear a ton of holiday music, and there's inevitably in every city one station that you enjoyed listening to that in early September, maybe October, starts switching over to Christmas music, and then you're inundated, right?
Yeah.
So most people now are to the point where they're so saturated with Christmas music that it drives them nuts. And I think there are either Christmas songs are either really great or really bad. There's almost no in between. So I was curious to see what my colleagues find interesting in a Christmas song, or what is your go-to holiday music. And I'll start with my all-time favorite Christmas song, which is Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues with Kirsty MacColl. And going to videos for that, Matt Dillon and John Lydon of PIL have cameos in the video for that. And Kirsty MacColl's vocals really make the record for me. And when it came out, you know, in 87, 88, there were all of these like really sappy Christmas records. And this one was like not a sappy Christmas record. So that is on my list as well. And I guess we'll kind of round robin in it. Do you have a song, Alan, that you want to throw in there?
Well, that's hard to say because there are 8 billion Christmas songs. I'm going to narrow it down to one album. And actually, I can narrow it down to like 4 or 5 albums, but probably my favorite one came out in, I don't even know, early 70s, maybe, the Phil Spector, A Christmas Gift for You. Oh my gosh. That is Christmas in a package for me. It's got amazing songs by Darlene Love and the Ronettes and the Crystals and Bobby Sox and Blue Jeans. I don't know them except for from this album. But I mean, the Darlene Love songs on here are just like definitive Christmas for me. Her cover of Marshmallow World is spectacular. And there's so many songs on here. Winter Wonderland, I love. And it's just, I mean, it's so joyous and it's so upbeat. And, you know, I don't need another recording of like fucking Jingle Bells or any of that shit. However, the Ronettes cover of Frosty the Snowman is so good. I just love it. It makes me happy.
I had
That's a
Darlene
great
Love.
pick.
Oh, yeah, it is. I had Darlene Love on my list, so I'll take that off. And Steph, do you have anything?
I do. I actually picked 3 songs, and I think they're pretty obvious, but I'll say them there. 2,000 Miles by the Pretenders.
Oh, I love that song.
Yes.
I heard a cover of that very like in a
Oh.
store just like last week, and I never heard any version of that other than the Pretenders.
Yeah, I
Sharon
have
Van
not
Etten
either.
has a version of it out
It
right
was
now.
not as good.
Oh, okay. Well, I just love that song because it's like almost like a standalone song where it could be a Christmas song, but it's also like just a regular song. You know,
Absolutely.
that's on an album. So I love that. I love Christmas Wrapping by the Waitresses.
Yes.
But I have to say, I know it's totally played out on like TV commercials and everything. But when I think about it, and I think of like MTV, I think of their video, Patty Donahue. I just think like 1982, you know, all over again. So that makes me happy. And the third choice I have is something that you wouldn't expect from me because, you know, I have a really big chip on my shoulder about Mariah. But I have to say, All I Want for Christmas Is You is just, it kicks ass.
It is as close to a perfect song as you can get.
Yep.
And I'm so sick of it. But kudos to her for coming up with and her however many co-writers it was.
Well, just one, Walter.
Oh, it's just her. Okay. So for coming up with a modern Christmas absolute standard that I think it's a great song.
Yep.
Don't ever want to hear it again, but I think it's a great song.
One of the things I love about the Waitresses, which was also on my list, is that sort of like sing-song quasi-rap thing it's got going on.
Yeah.
It's so ahead of its time.
It is.
You know,
it is.
It's great. I feel what you're saying about Mariah Carey, but the record that sort of has that thing for me is Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's
Yes.
awesome. I can always listen to it, but by the end of the holiday season, I'm kind of like,
Mm.
okay, I've heard it enough. But at the time, it was great because there weren't a lot of hip hop Christmas records, right?
Well, that's
And
true.
If any,
MTV played
yeah.
the daylights out of that.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good pick. Real good pick.
Yeah.
Do you have other ones,
that's
Rob, that I
from-
didn't seal?
That's from that first Very Special Christmas CD, which is another one of my go-tos. Like every track on that album is definitive Christmas for me.
Yeah.
But that one, because rap was still fairly new in the popular culture, you know, world, and it was kind of new to me too. And it took me a little while to really kind of gravitate toward that song, but once I did, I absolutely love it. It's Christmas time in Hollis, Queens. Mama cooking chicken and collard greens. I love it so much.
And it does such a great job at like painting a picture lyrically. It's great in the same way that the Waitresses does. So my other go-to is a little different for me as well. And for me, you know, Frank Sinatra just turned 110 this week, but those first 2 Frank Sinatra holiday albums, those first 2 Christmas albums are fantastic. They're really great. And I'm also a sap for White Christmas by Bing Crosby. It's fantastic. It still holds up. And anybody anywhere can be missing somebody or missing home, and that song fits.
White Christmas has such it's so sad. You know, I'll get to this later, but we just went to see the Milk Carton Kids 2 nights ago, and they did a stunning version of that song. And
cool.
We were in a venue that was a church, and it was just like incredible. But that song really is, you know, it gets you.
That's so cool.
One of the ones I have too is Sinead O'Connor's version of Silent Night. It is one of the few times I've heard a Christmas song that just like sends the hair on the back of your neck up. It's just amazing. So those are mine.
Cool.
Then I've got one other unexpected one, and that is a Canadian sort of world music artist called Lorena McKennitt, who did a Christmas album 10 or 12 or whatever years back. And there's at least 3 key tracks on that for me that I think are amazing. But her version of, now I can't remember the damn song. Why can't I remember the song? Anyway, but there's one that's like 7 minutes long, and it literally sounds like a caravan crossing a desert, like like they're traveling to Bethlehem or whatever. And it is unbelievably amazing. And I have to have that on any Christmas playlist that I do. I've played it for other people and nobody likes it as much as I do. I find it mesmerizing. It's absolutely lovely.
And her voice is so incredibly different than any other voice that you hear.
Yeah, I love it so much.
Do you have anything else, Steph, on there? Or you
I do not. All right. I was told to pick 3 and I did that. I followed directions.
So the other thing that's interesting too is, Christmas and the holiday season is a very interesting time for reflection. And as music people, we love nostalgia and we always connect music with memories, sort of, for us. That's kind of a big thing. So I'm just curious, what is the best music related gift or gifts that you got for Christmas?
I can tell you that my favorite thing I ever got was when I was 15. Was I 15? Yeah. It was Christmas of 1981, and I got Ghost in the Machine, by the Police, which is actually like my favorite album now ever. And I had wanted it so bad, and my parents remembered this, and they got it for me. And I just remember opening it up, like looking at the cover, reading that, how once we did this. Well, albums are coming back, so I guess we still do this. But just looking at the album art, and just not 1 month later, on January 22nd, 1982, I went to see them with the Go-Go's opening up at Madison Square Garden. And that was my first concert ever. And that started me on my musical career, kind of. After that, shortly started playing drums and everything. So, but yeah, that was like the best gift I can ever remember getting for Christmas.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Alan?
Well, my favorite one ever, I think this was 2004. I might be remembering the year wrong, but Christine McVie had been away from Fleetwood Mac for a long time. And they did a big tour where Christine was back in the band, and my sweetheart spent a ton of money to get us tickets to that show, because I'd seen Fleetwood Mac back in the 80s. I saw them on the Mirage tour and a couple of other times, but it had been a long time since Christine was in the band. And as I said, when we did our Buckingham Nicks episode, I am a Christine girly. So I was so excited. And he got us tickets to go see Fleetwood Mac with the classic lineup back intact. And it was amazing. It's one of my favorite shows I've ever seen, and definitely one of the best Christmas gifts, music-related Christmas gifts I've ever gotten.
That's a great present. Yeah.
One of mine is, I was maybe 15 at the time, and my brother was home. He basically said, "Get in the car, let's go." And we went to a local store called Grandpa Pigeon's. Kids, ask your parents. And he bought me my first stereo.
Oh.
And that, I still have it because I don't want to get rid of it. And the radio and the cassette work fantastically, right?
Wow.
But it was one of those old Panasonic units where everything was connected, right? So when I bought a DVD player later, I just had to put the DVD player underneath it and then plug into it, right?
Yeah.
It was great because it was like, hey, you are starting to listen to music, and if you're going to be taking my records and listening to them, I want them to be played on your thing, not mine. And you need to start buying your own. It was kind of like passive aggressive, like you need to start buying your own.
Right.
Right. So we went to the store and I got my first stereo, and that was really, really cool. That's my first memory. And then a recent one is a couple of years ago, Janet got a couple of my music prints that I had and posters, snuck them out of the man room and got them framed.
Oh,
and that
great.
was really, really cool. So I was really happy about that because it sort of snuck up on me. I'm like, oh, that. And I have loads of posters that I need to frame, but no wall space.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that she just sort of knew which ones to pick, and then also the fact that I got some of it done, makes me feel a little more like fulfilled as a human.
No, that's really nice. That's a good sneaky surprise.
I can tell you about the time that my family ruined Kiss for me.
Oh,
this was in 79, and I'd been into Kiss for a few years. I'd gotten the Love Gun album in 77 for my birthday, and that started the whole thing. And I just became obsessed with Kiss, and my family kind of hated it, and I think I wasn't ever a rebellious kid or anything like that, but I think I was really into the idea of I've got my own musical identity that my family does not share and they hate it. And, it was like the only like rebellious thing I've ever done. But then by 79, they had kind of come around and every Christmas present I got that year was Kiss related. And it just wasn't the same anymore. And I felt like Kiss is like too safe. They're too family friendly. They're, maybe it's time for me to move on from
Kiss dolls and everything from them.
Yes.
I'm sure we all have had that too, where we have like a musical passion that we have, and our parents and family don't know what the hell we're doing. Like mine was Joy Division. Mm-hmm. My parents were like terrified that I was going to kill myself because they found a couple Joy Division records, and one of the Christian brothers at my high school actually found a couple of my cassettes, and he made me stay after school for a semester of detention to make sure I wasn't going to do anything.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah, crazy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so really funny. Harsh.
And then Steph, you will find this amusing. I have siblings that were very, very worried that I had the very first Go-Go's album.
Oh, really?
Because they had heard stories about the Go-Go's. And they weren't the Andrews sisters.
Right. They were not. They were not.
So that's part of the fun, though, of holidays and music, is sort of like you attach your memories to them, and families that somehow, some way will try to ruin your holiday by not understanding your music, and you just have to persevere on.
Yeah.
Which kind of pivots us to what I wanted to sort of talk about now, is everybody who loves music has two positions that they're in. One, they want to pass on their passion for music to other people they know, but they also are in the position where people will come up to them often, completely, catching you off guard. And they will say, "Hey, what should I get for Christmas for my Uncle Felix, who loves music? He loves polka and Fear the Record. What should I get him for Christmas?" Right? And you're like, so this year we're going to try to help. Maybe you're listening to the podcast and you've got an Aunt Fern or an Uncle Fred and you've got to buy them something and you have no idea what to do. Or perhaps you're older and you've got a niece and you want to be like cool and whatever. So what are some gift giving advice or things that you would suggest for someone who has to buy either a music themed thing for a loved one or get asked for advice?
Well, my first thought was, biographies or autobiographies by musicians or of musicians, like I think, especially if you know what this person loves and, is into, because I think there are so many great books out right now. And, Bob just keeps getting book after book after book. And there's just so many written about musicians or written by musicians. So I think you can't go wrong. There's always an interesting story or stories in these books, and something, you always learn something. So I feel like that's a great gift, a book about music or whatever. And then I also was thinking, if you want to help support local or indie artists, both, whatever, if you have like a favorite band or something, go to their Bandcamp, go to their page, whatever, and buy that music and turn your friend or relative on to the music you like. Or, maybe they're a fan too, but whatever. Just, I feel like supporting indie music is really a big deal because I am one and I am an indie musician and I know how big of a deal it is to help and, turn people onto your music. It's special.
That's a nice pivot to one of my things. Is I was going to suggest you buy someone, instead of a streaming service, buy them a Bandcamp membership. Oh, because they can explore to their heart's content.
That's a great idea. I would never have thought of that. That's really good.
And just buy on a Friday.
Exactly. Well, when it's Bandcamp Friday, that's right.
Bandcamp Friday, yeah. Because I was amazed how much stuff is on Bandcamp. It really is a big sort of giant tunnel you can fall into if you're not careful with your time. But most of the money goes to the artists. Most of the artists generally appreciate you buying from there. And if you buy something from Bandcamp, I don't know if this has happened to you, Steph, or not, but I've actually gotten stuff from Bandcamp, and I've gotten like a little note from the band saying, "Hey, thanks for buying our record," or, "Oh, these are our friends. They like this band. You should like," and that's really cool.
I actually do that whenever someone buys my thing. I put a note in there. Sometimes I send them crystals and stuff, little presents. Yeah.
Alan, do you have any ideas?
No.
That's okay.
I mean, this was a hard one for me because it can vary so widely depending on who it is you're buying for. So the key is know what they like.
Yeah.
And know if they're the kind of person that even would appreciate a music related gift. I mean, if they are, then by all means buy a concert, like a DVD or Blu-ray of a band that they love, or get them a concert ticket if their favorite band member comes back into a band that they've been out of for a long, long, long time. That works really well.
The other idea, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The other idea that I had too was go to a place, if you have a musician in your family and they love music and you don't know whether they're going to play jazz or they're going to play blues or whatever, get them something like a gift card to Guitar Center or your local music shop. There are many fantastic, great local music stores in cities all over the country. People will buy guitars, people will buy, drum kits and stuff. Do that too if you can. I think that going local is really important, especially with music related things. So that's another thing on my list, as well as headphones. Everyone needs headphones.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. So
turntables.
Yeah, exactly.
Needles, stuff like that. But I think it's really hard too.
A big old boom box.
Oh my, those are coming back. I'm really amazed at how many of those I've seen.
Oh boy.
I mean, the just amount of boom boxes I think I've seen in the last month has been kind of frightening. It's pretty scary. But I think too, knowing, like you said, Alan, knowing what the person likes and what they're interested in. But everybody sort of wants to score points with someone in their family of a particular generation. And the best way to do that is, I think, by getting a music gift. I think it connects better than like buying them a cookbook or, a plant or some yogurt. I think it's a good way to
yogurt.
Oh my God. Here's some dairy for you.
I had
yogurt that they're going to feed to their pet leopard.
I had someone give me a coupon to a yogurt of the month club once.
Oh,
that sounds kind of awesome. I will say I had a best friend in high school who got me, my birthday's in November, so it's 1 month ahead of Christmas, got me a rather expensive birthday present. For Christmas, she got me a big jar of dill pickles because she knows how much I love pickles, but she'd already spent a lot of money on my birthday. So maybe that should be my favorite Christmas present ever. That big old jar of pickles. I loved it.
That's great.
And it's, I don't know about you, Steph, but the pressure's on too when you're married or when you're with somebody and you want to get them a music thing because you're like, I have to live up to this like coolness standard.
Right.
With
Bob, I just like flat out ask, like, what do you want? Because he's got so many music related things, items. I can't keep track. So.
Right.
And you're right. Sometimes a gift card is the best option. So.
Yeah. It always seems so impersonal to me. But if you're talking about something specific, like a Bandcamp thing or to a local music stop, that's that's not that impersonal. That's not like buying a Target gift card or something.
Yeah.
It's something that is like specifically in line with the person you're buying for. And I think that's really a cool idea.
Yeah.
For sure. I love how Taylor Swift sort of started this idea of like, it's the holidays. Here's a ton of stuff on my merch to buy for the holidays, right? So you can always probably buy someone in your family something related to Taylor Swift because someone in your family will probably want that. Alan, I'm sure you know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Don't spend any more. That she has got billions of dollars. She does not need any more of your business.
So we talked about songs before a little bit. I'm just wondering what you guys think makes a great holiday song or doesn't make a good holiday song. For me, I love how you mentioned the songs that you talked about before, because the Darlene Love songs, for example, they all have this like jangle and this sort of like upbeat sort of thing. I like that as much as I like the Sad Bastard songs, like Tom Waits' Postcard from a Hooker in Minneapolis and the Pogues and stuff. I really love those Wall of Sound records and like the Beach Boys Christmas record stuff. So for me, that's the kind of sound I want. I want something that like it feels like rock and roll, but it's also unique for Christmas. I don't really want novelty records, right? I'm not a grandma got run over by a reindeer kind of guy. But
no, I'm not a person that likes
I want like a real record where people do stuff.
Yeah. That's why I said like 2,000 Miles is kind of like the ultimate for me, because it's like not a Christmas song, but it is, you know. Or I agree. Like I want an upbeat okay, here's what I want. I want something that's done really well that I haven't really heard before. There's so much that all just sounds the same to me. You can do a standard Christmas song, but just do it your own way, you know, do it a different way and do it your own way.
Agreed. But it can go too far also.
Oh, yeah.
If it doesn't have, like, I've heard so many covers, especially this year, of standards that are done in such a modern way that it no longer sounds like, it doesn't sound Christmassy to me. Just because you're singing lyrics that are about Christmas, the song does not sound Christmassy to me. And we were in Target a couple of weeks ago, and I don't even remember which song it was, but it was Christina Aguilera. And she's doing this song, and it wasn't This Christmas, it was something else. But she's just singing, and I'm like, oh my God, she needs to fucking stop. And this was in the restroom, so I could hear it very clearly. So I came out from, peeing, and I caught up with my partner, and I'm like, oh my God, did you hear that Aguilera song that they just played? He's like, I didn't really pay attention. And I'm like, well, I was in the restroom, so it was all I could hear.
Yeah.
And it was so awful. It was so bad. And, she's just going crazy. And he's like, well, you heard it in the right place, being in the bathroom with all of her runs. And I thought, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard him say.
All I'm going to say about Christmas records and what's good and bad is just, I say this every year and nobody ever does it. Bring me the head of Pentatonics.
Well, there's not just one head, first of all.
it's too, bring all of it. Okay. It's so schmaltzy. I don't want that much schmaltz and that much sugar.
Yeah.
Right. I don't mind good pop, but I just don't want it to be like so much sounding like we're trying so hard to sound like we love Christmas that it's horrible.
Oh yeah, forced holiday cheer is the worst.
I will also say, and I mentioned this earlier, but just fucking stop recording Jingle Bells.
Yes, please.
Stop recording. I don't want to hear
Rudolph.
Another person talk about roasting chestnuts on an open fire. I'm so tired of that shit, because the classic versions of these things are perfect. They are impeccable.
Yeah. They
are timeless. And I know people want to do, put their own stamp on some of these timeless ones. And sometimes it works well, but at the same time, and I know also a lot of those things are in public domain, so they don't have to pay anybody anything to record them. So it's easy and cheap to do.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. But at the same time, fuck me, just come up with something new. That's why I love original Christmas songs, as long as they sound Christmassy. As much as I hate that fucking Wham song, it's perfect. It's a good song. It sounds Christmassy. All the covers of it are terrible, but their version is perfection. That stupid Mariah Carey song completely gets the spirit of Christmas.
Yeah.
And all those kind of things. 2,000 Miles, like you said, that one sounds cold. It sounds wintry. Yeah. It sounds like you're in the season, and it's an amazing song. Original songs, as long as I don't know, it's hard to connect sometimes, because sometimes they want to be too funny, too silly, too, quirky or whatever. Sometimes they just really get you, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there's a duo called She and Him.
Yes.
That I've done a lot of like covers albums, and it's Zoe Deschanel and somebody.
Ward.
Yeah, that's it. But they've done some Christmas things too, and they do all those standards, but it sounds great. They sound so nice, and Their versions are wonderful, and they sound like a modern update of a classic song that still respects the classic, perfect.
Nice.
And I don't mind a new Christmas song.
No,
right?
not at all.
And one of the things I love every year is like the record labels will roll out like, here's, Christmas songs from like these bands. And you're like, what is this? Right. I love it though when I see something and I don't recognize what the song is. Because I'm like, oh, maybe they did a whole new Christmas song. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's some really
do a new song.
Do a whole new song. Like Erasure did a whole EP in the 80s called Crackers International, where they did their own little twist on Christmas. And that worked really great. Right. And I think of the Slade Christmas song, which I don't believe is a standard, and the Wizard Christmas song is also fantastic. Right, I want stuff like that. That's like really fun. And McCartney, I think McCartney has pretty much the most definitively sort of like peppy, upbeat Christmas song that you can listen to, and it's not indicative of what Paul McCartney sounds like, but it's like, okay, I don't hate this.
Yeah, I like that. I know Alan's not a fan.
It's a bit schmaltzy. I don't really care for it that much.
But that's about as schmaltzy as I get.
If it comes on, I will not turn it off because it's still McCartney.
Yeah.
And I still sing along with it. But
he only is saved by the fact with it that he's Paul McCartney.
I have heard a couple of covers of that I really liked.
Yeah, I just heard a couple really great covers of Happy Christmas War is Over that I like. Which I'm like,
that so much.
But that original is so perfect too.
It is so perfect. Absolutely.
But those are the records I think sound like, what a perfect song should sound like.
We're talking about Christmas music and the Christmas season, and I have been so cussy on this show. What is wrong with me?
Jesus is gonna not let you in, Alan.
And I'm not a humbug about this kind of stuff. I do. Now I will say, when I used to work retail, I got sick of Christmas music.
Oh man,
that ruined Christmas music for me for a long time. But I'm back now. I really do enjoy it a lot now. But you turn on Christmas radio and it's every artist under the sun all recording the same songs.
Yeah.
And no matter how much difference they make in their arrangement, it gets so repetitive.
If you really want to be innovative at Christmas, don't have an all Christmas radio station. Just do something different, like all Halloween music for Christmas or something. just do a gimmick, right? Just do any kind of gimmick that'd be better, right?
Oh, that's funny.
That'd be awesome. So in addition to being at Christmas, which everyone knows and can't escape right now, it's also a time when we start looking back at the year. And we touched upon a lot of great things this year with the podcast, which is fantastic. But what highlights did you guys have in music or film or books or some music related thing? For me, the last thing I was super excited about is I got to see the documentary called Man on the Run. It's about Paul McCartney and Wings.
Oh,
and it's coming out.
I can't wait
and
to see that.
That is absolutely incredible. So that has been probably my favorite, like, watch a documentary lately experience.
Awesome.
So that's kind of where I'm going to start with it. And it sort of breaches into next year too, but go see that. It's great.
Oh, wow. I cannot wait. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of documentaries, I put Billy Joel's documentary on my list because, I mean, look, let's face it, we did a whole episode on this documentary. So go listen to it.
Yeah. The Cyndi Lauper documentary was really, really good. And I mean, not that I don't appreciate her, but I did come away with a new appreciation for her career. And I thought it was so much fun. But the Billy Joel one, man, was that a great doc.
What a surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really
it was
good.
so good.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to mention two concerts that we've seen recently that were great. The first is Ron Sexsmith. Both of these shows, by the way, were at Outpost in the Burbs in Montclair, New Jersey, which is a beautiful church. And the sound in there is like impeccable, especially if it's like a solo artist or, I mean, bands do sound great in there, but it's kind of loud when you full band. If it's just like a guy and a guitar, or a gal and a guitar, like amazing sound. So Ron Sexsmith played solo in there, and it was just outstanding. His voice is like an angel, and it was amazing. So that show, and then we literally, just like I was mentioning before, we saw the Milk Carton Kids, who had a female singer-songwriter named Humbird opening up, and both were just absolutely fantastic. I know I'm coming late to the Milk Carton Kids party, but I was just overwhelmed by their voices. I mean, they're so like Simon and Garfunkel meets Beatles meets just like their own thing. I mean, I loved them. And Humbird was really great too. I encourage anyone to seek her out. It was a great show.
The first show I saw this year that I still remember that I really liked was I saw Franz Ferdinand right at the beginning of the year, as before the album came out. And it was one of those chances that you don't get very often where you see a band playing new material before you've heard it, which I love. So that was fun. I saw Ethel Cain in Atlanta when I was down there for Dragon Con this year, and that was just unearthly. It was amazing. The other concert that this will surprise you, Steph, because I think we've talked about this. I finally saw Elvis Costello.
Oh
wow.
Nice.
And that was really cool. I'm glad that I got to see Elvis Costello because people should.
Yeah.
Beach House played a show here that before they went on their American tour, they played like 5 dates. They played in St. Louis, and it was great. It was like watching a really great band play in the dark. It was awesome.
Who was it?
Beach House.
Beach House. Okay.
They're on Sub Pop Records. Yeah,
Okay.
they're fantastic. The other concert I really loved was LCD Sound System. It was 3.5 hours long, but it was just energetic and upbeat and great. And this is the year I didn't get to see a lot of bands I wanted to see live. Like I didn't. So for that, me to see that was really good.
What you got, Alan?
Well, I can't remember. That's the thing. I know I've read some. Oh no, I know I've read some books, but I don't remember what. This is so bad.
Yeah,
that's okay. You read a lot of books. Oh my God.
I don't read as much as I should.
Oh,
and of course, this past year I had cataract, so I couldn't read much of anything at all. So I know I haven't done a lot of that. And now that I've got my cataract surgery a week ago, I'm so excited about reading again. I can't wait.
So
There's
great.
so many books. Another musical highlight I had this year is I met Chuck D. And that was amazing. It was really fantastic. He had an art show in St. Louis, and we went to see him, and it was great. And he spent like 15, 20 minutes just talking to people.
Oh, right? So jealous.
And you don't necessarily expect it. You don't really know. I mean, I met him once at the New Music Seminar. It was like really quick and really fast. But he was like so down to earth and so nice and just really cool. That was awesome.
So cool.
Book-wise, you know, the thing about music books now is that there's so friggin' many. My to-read stack is like unbearable. And sometimes I'll send them to Alan like, hey, here's a book idea. But then I feel like guilty because I'm like, he's never going to read it. Like I'm never going to get to it either. Right. So it's like a gestalt of misery. My to be read stack still has stuff that I got for Christmas 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh,
like a whole bunch of music books that I haven't even started yet.
Yeah. We were talking about documentaries. The Pavement documentary was great. That came out this year. If you're not even a fan of Pavement, it's just a really great thing about people in bands and them getting along and not getting along. That was great. The Springsteen movie, I didn't hate it. It was much better than I anticipated it being with Springsteen. For a biopic, it was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I will say I talked about this on one of our previous episodes too, but the Tears for Fears concert film that I saw in theater, I don't think it's streaming anywhere still. I don't think it's ever come out in streaming, but I saw it in the theater and it was phenomenal. God.
Yeah. This was a really good year for concert films too, right? Because you got that. You had the big lead up to the Taylor Swift album that came out with the big thing where she basically talked about each of the songs. The Depeche Mode movie, M, showed in theaters this weekend. The Cure just had a concert film streaming. All these artists are doing concert films now, which is a really interesting way for us that want to go see bands but don't want to stand for like 5 hours with thousands of people. We can go enjoy it. And the way now that visuals and sound look for movies and music together is pretty incredible.
Let's also mention, you guys, my friend Olivia Serafini Soli's movie,
Yes.
Yep.
right? Endless Calls for Fame, which you can see on, like Apple TV or all these streaming services. She made an insanely awesome movie about our friends band, the New Rising Suns.
Absolutely. I was going to mention that in our final segment.
Oh, fabulous. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So
we can
talk
lead
that
into
up a
that
little
segment now, can we?
Oh my gosh. That movie is so great.
Yeah, there's a couple really cool books too that I've stumbled across. Shouting Out Loud, The Lives of the Raincoats. By Audrey Golden, who is technically my boss at Louder Than War Radio, but she's a fantastic writer and music journalist. And the Raincoats are great. They never really got their due. And it's a really great story about like women kicking ass in rock. And then the one that I've really enjoyed lately, that I shouldn't have to enjoy because we shouldn't have to even be writing about this, is This Ain't Rock and Roll, which is by Daniel Rachel, and it's all about the history of music in the Third Reich and how it continues in today. It's really really good.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. So that's kind of my little glimpse. And if we start talking about albums that I like this year, this is what a great year for music.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a quick break for an ad, and we will be right back to close out our show. We've got one more segment to do before we skedaddle. So stick around for 30 seconds, and we will be right back.
Come listen to the 42 Cast. It's your ultimate answer to fandom, geekiness, and everything, and you can only find it on the ESO Network.
And we are back. And look who's with us. Coming in at the last second. Our good buddy, Anthony.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you're here. I hated the fact that we were recording the last episode of the year without you.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. The last few days have been a total whirlwind. I didn't see the messages that we were doing 7. I assumed it was 8. I woke up from my nap and saw everything, went, oh shit.
Well, here you are.
I'm here.
Well, let me ask you one of the questions that we all discussed earlier. What are your go-to holiday songs? Like 3, just a handful of your favorite holiday songs that sum up the Christmas spirit for you.
So I'm one of those people that thinks that Christmas is actually spooky as hell. So anything kind of that's in a more minor key, I tend to really enjoy. So Marillion do a phenomenal version of Carol of the Bells that's a lot of fun.
I remember you mentioning that once before, and I still haven't gone and listened to that. I need to find that.
It's great. The video's out there on YouTube. It's very silly. They riff off Bohemian Rhapsody at times for the video. It's
I love
great.
That.
I also really, really love Krista Burr's Spaceman Came Traveling.
Oh, yeah.
Which is far less well known, but there's something wonderfully epic and poses the question, what if Christ was actually an alien? Which no one else asks.
You're the one that introduced me to that song also.
Mm-hmm. And then the last one is obviously Band-Aid's Do They Know It's Christmas?
Yeah. I can't believe we didn't.
No, it's not. It's not. I actually think.
Darn you.
I actually don't really like that song that much.
Love it.
No, Merry Christmas, everyone. Is that Slade?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, Slade's Merry Christmas, everyone, or everybody. That song is just so much fun, so silly, and yes, it goes everything against what I just said about songs in a minor key, because that's very much not, but it's big, it's loud, it's silly, and it's glam rock, and I love it.
It's also euphoric too. There's like a really great sort of like spirit to that record that I love too.
Exactly.
I can always listen to that one.
Okay, well, this is the last episode of 2025. And also, we're kind of celebrating our 3rd anniversary. So to wrap us up for the year, we will be back at the beginning of January. But to wrap us up for 2025, why don't y'all name some of your favorite episodes that we did this year? Just kind of look back on our past year of shows and kind of think of some of the ones that really stand out for you that if somebody hasn't heard, they should go back and listen to.
I couldn't pick like a favorite one, but I have 4 that were standouts in my mind. 2 are ones that we played music to and listened to.
Yeah.
And then we all sort of did round robin, feedback about. So that is Anthony's birthday extravaganza show, which I absolutely had such a great time during.
I did too.
It was so fun to also, get like inside Anthony's musical mind. I loved that.
It was
and then also
terrifying place.
it's terrifying and wonderful at the same time. And all about that bass, which was again so fun. I think we need to do an all about drums.
Oh, we're doing that.
Okay.
We're so doing that.
Good. But I also loved our 40 years of Live Aid show. That was so fun to reminisce about where we all were when we heard Live Aid or saw Live Aid. And then my other one that stood out in my mind was the show we did with author Daniel Rachel, who, Rob, you've already mentioned him in this podcast, but the Two Tone Records conversation was just fascinating. And I'm so into two tone. So that was a highlight for me.
Yeah, I agree.
You hit all of mine, mostly. No, it's totally fine. I do want to say that, and I'm glad he's on now because we can say it, that birthday thing was awesome for Anthony. It was fantastic for me as someone who has to literally weed through tons and tons of music every week just to let someone else pick shit that was just so crazy out of my comfort zone that it made me sort of a better music listener. And it was fun. I just thought that was just a lot of fun. Right. Also, we talked about this too, the episode where we had Alan's friend on talking about movies in the 80s. I could do that all day. That
John Malahide. Malahide, sorry. Yep. John Malahide.
I was afraid I was going to say another particular singer that sounds like that, and I didn't want to do that. So that was great. Yeah. I also really, really, really loved the 1985 shows because it was just such an incredibly heavy year for music of stuff that we did and talked about. There was just so much on there. The bass episode, like you said, was fantastic, and being able to sort of weed through that too. And the episode that Alan did about Kiss, I really enjoyed that.
Nice.
About Ace Frehley, sorry, and Kiss.
Oh, okay. I was like, when did I do it?
It took me a minute. No, it took me a minute.
Yes, the Ace one. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Anthony, do you have a few?
Well, admittedly, my birthday extravaganza is fairly special because I got to make you guys listen to whatever the hell I wanted to make you listen to. and I made you listen.
And clearly that struck a nerve because
it worked.
We've all mentioned how much we love that. So.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. The all about that bass one was lots of fun. Similar vein, this is a reminder. Oh, 1 second. Sorry, Alexa was talking. The other one that immediately comes to mind is the TV themes. That was another one where we had clips, and that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
1985, already mentioned. And then, of course, I wasn't on it, but I listened to it because I'm a good co-host. I really enjoyed when you guys did the current state of Britpop.
That was a good one. I agree.
That's right.
I
that was
totally
fun.
agree.
I did like that one. We can do that again if you want to be on it next year. We need another one.
So some of my favorites, big standouts for me, I had a buddy of mine, Chris Coker, who came on, who was the editor of a book called Thank You for the Days. The fans of the Kinks share 60 years of stories. And if somebody wants suggestions for a good Christmas present, in addition to the John Malahide book, which we talked about last week, this Kinks book is so fun. It was a great episode. Definitely go back and give that one a listen. And I'm going to say the second interview that we did, we had her on twice, once last year, once this year. And that's Stephanie's buddy, Olivia Serafini-Sali, talking about her film. That was probably one of my favorite conversations we have ever had.
Oh, wow. That's so, that was so great. Yeah.
The first time we talked to her, the film was in development. The second time we talked to her, it had been released. So there was a whole new angle on that conversation that we were able to have with her.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just a great episode. I really enjoyed our 40 years of Live Aid. Again, the 1985 2 episodes were just great. The Ozzy Osbourne episode, that was that I should have mentioned that too. That was a documentary this year that really just punched me in the face. It was so good. And then our ticket prices episode.
Oh
yes.
Because we
like
got
that
so
one.
fired up about that topic.
We were mad as hell, and we weren't going to
mad.
take it.
It was the yin and yang. We had Anthony's like, we're really happy. This is cool. And then the next week we were like screaming and yelling and
bitching away.
Right. But that was fun.
Yeah.
So anybody who may be new to our show, or maybe, is a here again, once in a while listener, those are some episodes that we think you should really go back and listen to that we really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So that's going to pretty much do it for us this week. We will be back at the beginning of January. I think the first show we're going to be doing is a Bowie show, because that will be right at the time of the 10th anniversary of his passing. So we're going to be doing that. So let's talk about where people can find us elsewhere during that interim when we won't be putting out new episodes. Anthony, where can people find you?
You can also find me on the Watchers in the Fourth Dimension podcast, watching our way through all of Doctor Who from 1963 until now. And you can find us anywhere where you like to get your podcasts, whether that's Apple, Amazon, etc., including wherever you're listening to this one.
Robbo.
So you can find me on all the social media platforms, the Book of Face and Blue Sky, and the other one, the Insta, as the kids say. I'm on all those. You can just find me under my name. You can find me twice on Mondays. First on Louder Than War Radio with a show called Antics. It's on 6 to 8 Greenwich time, 12 to 2 Central, 1 to 3 Eastern. Then later that day, out of Brooklyn, New York, the Face Radio. That show is from 5 to 7 Central, 6 to 8 Eastern. And then on every Saturday, I am on twice in Los Angeles. By demand, they repeat the show now. So I'm on in the morning, 9 to 11 Central Time, and then in the evening, 8 to 10 p.m. Central Time. And that show is called The Comforts of Madness for Eardrum Buzz Radio. You can find me on both of those. All three of those, rather. Sorry.
However many it is. All right, Steph, you got one last chance in 2025 to get it right.
I'm going to do this.
I have faith in you. I know you can do it.
You can find me on Facebook at Stephanie Seymour Music. You can find me on Instagram at _r_birds. I have a website there, ourbirds.com. You can find me on Bandcamp under my name, and you can find me on Spotify and all the streaming platforms. Oh my God, I did it. Alan, where can we find you?
CosmicCreative.com, KOZMIC Creative.com.
Yes.
Where you can take a look at the 2 Doctor Who books that I have coming out very, very soon, imminently, and 2 other podcasts that I do. Earth Station Trek, shockingly, it's a Star Trek podcast, and Doctor Who A to Z, all about Doctor Who. Whatever we want to talk about each time, we just talk about whatever we want. All right. I hope you all have a very lovely Christmas. And thank you all so much for 3 years of a great show. I've really loved being a part of this with all 3 of you. So, yes. And to our listeners, everybody have a happy holiday. We will see you again in 2026.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Bah humbug.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.